One more week to the arrival of 2020 is the best time for goal setting, New Year resolutions, and building a new habit. Planning and setting goals can be fun and exciting as we visualize the end results. But we look back at our previous goal that we set. How many of them were forgotten and how many of them became meaningless by the end of first quarter? Because we as a human like changes, but we don't like the process of changing. So here are some of the tips that I've learned from podcasts I've listened to, books that I've read, and also my own experience in goal setting that can help you out to create a purposeful and attainable goals in 2020. Less is focus. What I mean is, having less goal is better for us to focus. Instead of having a meaningless checklist for us to check at the end of the year, we can treat goal setting like how we treat material possessions in our life. We wouldn't want to have overly cluttered goals which will fog out our mind and end up being meaningless. We should be intentional with the goals we set, focus on it, and maximize our effort on that few particular goals that is really important to us. As a minimalist, we often have our material possessions in check to see if they are still bringing value to us in our life. The same thing goes for goal setting. If the goal has been reached, declutter it and work on something else that can bring us further in our life. I used to be one of those who have a never-ending list of goals at the start of the year, a mixture of achievable and unattainable goals. It was so overwhelming that I've decided not to look at them, and it serves no purpose because I don't know where to start. That's the reason why you have to identify what matters most. Let us start with the purpose, the why, and the value because that's what keeps us committed to the process. We always claim that our family, our health are our priorities. They are what we truly care the most, but yet our schedule and to-do list does not reflect that. By including this in our goals, it's more likely that we will work towards what matters to us most instead of what matters to your followers on Instagram most. It's a good way for us to align ourselves in the right direction before we start setting our goals. Next will be commit more to the process and worry less about the results. I'll say one of the reasons why we often give up on goals is because we are too emotionally attached to the results. We crave for instant gratification, expecting one day of hard work will exchange a significant result. We need to know that there's always a bad day due to unforeseeable reason. Whether is it making 0 sales on that day or making no progress with losing weight or starting a business. We overly invest our emotion onto the result, having a good mood when the results are good, feeling bad when the results are not what you expected. We need to be aware that our goals are measured with numbers and results, but our emotions are not. If our emotion is always attached to something so unpredictable, that will affect our self-esteem, our motivation wanes. Eventually, that will lead us to a path of giving up. For example, my goal is to spread my value across to as many people as possible through my YouTube channel. But I have no control over YouTube's algorithm. Even if they do recommend it, I can't control if people click on it. So instead of being affected and feeling sad about it, I should channel my energy onto the process, making videos that people would watch and bring them value. I also can focus on things that I know will bring me more opportunities, for example, double up on the commitment, if that's possible. As I'm speaking about this, it acts as a reminder for me to not worry about the short-term result. And this also reminds me of what Gary Vee always used to mention, micro speed, macro patience. Constantly commit to your goal daily and be patient with the result. If you are trying to lose weight, don't keep weighing yourself on the scale. If you want to write a book, don't worry about the book sale. If you are starting a YouTube channel, stop refreshing the subscribers count. All you need is focus on committing to the process every day, and in the long term, it will work itself. The last tip might not be a minimalist advice, but I'm pretty sure it will still help. Having accountability to hold you to your commitment. We as a human are lazy in our human nature. Unless you are the 1% that is all about work. I'm definitely not. And that's the reason why so many goals aren't achievable. When we don't feel like doing it, we tell ourselves there's always tomorrow to commit. When that's the situation, we need someone or something that can hold us accountable for our commitment. Whether is it an accountability partner or a position that gives us responsibility to do what our brain is avoiding. Because we as a human, by default, always seek for the path of least resistance. And if we only do what we feel like doing, we probably wouldn't accomplish any goals we set out by staying in our comfort zone. In order for us to surpass our human nature, sometimes we need the help of others to hold us accountable. Most of the time, it is a partner that pushes you to do more, someone who you can update your progress to. And of course, you have to reciprocate by pushing your partner and holding them accountable too. And this whole system is pretty much mutual. Both of you might not need to be working on the same goal, but both of you need to be equally dedicated to build this accountability partnership and commit to the process as if there's no other option than committing. And always be honest, if your goal is to write a book by the end of this year, and your action plan is to write 5 pages every day, somehow you failed to commit yesterday, let your partner know about this and tell them you will be putting more effort today by writing 10 pages to cover the day you missed. In some sense, accountability partner is like a coach to us, constantly monitoring our progress, and we wouldn't want to let them down. So these 3 tips are some of the advice that I've learned recently. Of course, there are some other crucial tips like having an action plan and make it as precise as possible with quantitative measures. Write goals down on a book where we can always refer to, realign ourselves, and complete them time after time. Break grand final goals into smaller projects for us to achieve quarterly and recognize small wins. Reward ourselves for committing in order to boost our motivation. Create habits that align with your goals with a systematic approach. Building physical environment that makes committing to the process easy. Lastly, be open to the idea that we can be limitless. Be open to the possibility that we can accomplish way more than what we can believe in. So I hope these tips can prepare yourself for the new year, setting goals that is attainable by the end of 2020. What's the best way for you to achieve your goals? Let me know down in the comment section. If you love to support this channel, you can help me with the like button, subscribe so you won't miss out on my weekly video or even twice a week if time allows. And I have a Patreon link at the description below, and your contribution can definitely help a lot with the growth of this channel. I really appreciate it. So that's all I have for you guys. Appreciate that you're spending time to watch this. And before I forgot, a Merry Christmas to all of you guys and Happy Holidays. And I'll see you guys soon.